Hello everyone. If you are watching this presentation, then you are considering applying for the NSF or National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship. At LSU, we put on a series of workshops each year to assist students in their applications for the fellowship program. This brief presentation is the first part of the first workshop and contains information on the application itself as well as eligibility criteria. In terms of application details, if you receive the NSF Graduate Fellowship, you would receive 3 years of support to attend graduate school. This includes a $34,000 per year stipend to study and additionally a $12,000 per year allowance that covers your tuition and fees that goes to the institution at which you study. If your institution's graduation, if their fees are over $12,000 a year, their tuition and fees, then the school has to exempt you from those fees. In other words, you will go to school tuition and fee free on an NSF Graduate Fellowship, as well as having a $34,000 annual stipend. You have 5 years to use the 3 years of support. If you decide that you want to apply for the NSF Graduate Fellowship, we strongly encourage you to spend some time on the NSF GRFP website. GRFP stands for Graduate Research Fellowship Program. And there's a lot of wonderful information on this website about the fellowship itself. That is the first URL on this slide. So one important thing to do would be to read the program solicitation, otherwise known as a request for application or a request for proposal. That's going to have all the information that you need to put in an application to NSF. In addition, there's a video-based tutorial on how to apply that is also helpful. There is a lot of detailed information about eligibility because there are several criteria you need to meet. We're going to go over some of these generally in a minute, but they've got really specific information on this website. There are a number of frequently asked questions that there are the answers to. There are a bunch of tips for applying and so on. So we strongly encourage you to take a look at that website and peruse it and make use of the tools that can help you turn in the best application. And we're here to help as well. In terms of eligibility, there are several different criteria that you need to meet in order to apply for the fellowship. The first one involves citizenship. So if you apply for the NSF Graduate Fellowship, you have to be a citizen of the United States or you need to be a U.S. national. You can see below on the slide, that just means that you would be a native resident of a Commonwealth or territory of the United States, and there's a list there. You also can apply if you are a permanent resident of the United States. So if you meet any of these eligibility criteria, then you have satisfied that criteria for citizenship. Another aspect of eligibility regards timing in terms of your graduate career. So you can apply as an undergraduate senior or as a student who's graduated with their undergraduate degree but before they started graduate school, which means post-baccalaureate. And in fact, we strongly encourage people, if you are a senior or a post-baccalaureate student, that you really apply because you will get another chance to apply in grad school. In case you don't get the fellowship the first time, you're going to have a lot of detailed feedback from the review process that you can use to improve your application for the next round, and your chances of funding go up. So, so you can apply as an undergraduate senior or a post-baccalaureate student. You also can apply in graduate school, and you are eligible to apply as an early career graduate student, meaning you just started graduate school, you just began your first year of graduate study, or you're just beginning your second year of graduate study. Keep in mind, once you are a graduate student, you get one shot only at the fellowship. So you need to choose, in terms of timing, when and where you feel like you can take the best shot that you can to get that fellowship. There are some special circumstances for breaks in your graduate career, which are really detailed very well in the program solicitation. Another aspect of eligibility requirements regards your discipline or your area of study. So all disciplines that NSF funds already are also eligible for applying for the fellowship. So you see the whole list here. Essentially, it's any STEM discipline standing for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And keeping in mind that sciences doesn't just mean life sciences and geosciences and physical sciences, but it also means social sciences, like psychology. There's also a place for STEM education and STEM learning. So there's a very detailed list of sub-disciplines in the program solicitation, but you would need to figure out which discipline that you're going to apply in, but these are the eligible ones. And keep in mind too that the type of degree you're going for also is an eligibility requirement, meaning that you have to be earning either a master's or a PhD that is research-based, research intensive. So just to make sure, there's also a whole section on what you're not eligible for. And so without going into too much detail, again, consult the program solicitation if you're not sure. But you are definitely not eligible to apply for the fellowship if you completed the requirements for any graduate or professional degree by August 1 of this year, unless there's two unlesses on that. One is if you were involved in a joint baccalaureate master's program. This is typically a 5-year program where you earn your BS, your bachelor's, and your master's degree typically at the same time. There's an exception for that. There's also an exception if you had an interruption in your graduate study of at least 2 consecutive years, and you can see the dates that they list for that. So you're not eligible if you've got any graduate or professional degree unless you've got these 2 potential parts of your certificate. You're also not eligible if you're enrolled in any type of practice-oriented professional degree, like a medical degree, a law degree, a master's in public health, and that also extends to joint programs. So even if part of your joint program is a master's-based PhD, if it's connected to a medical degree, like an MD PhD program, or it's connected to a law degree, like a JD PhD program, you're not eligible to receive the fellowship. And that also extends to any sort of clinical practice or medical practice type program that you can see the list of there. If you are not sure if you're eligible or not, you really should read the GRFP program solicitation, because there is more information than we've gone over on this little workshop, and strongly encourage you to interpret the document literally. In other words, don't read in anything. If you still aren't sure, you can contact the NSF GRFP office. The email is listed right there on this slide, but keep in mind that they tend to just send back the section of the program solicitation that talks about eligibility regarding your question. So they're not going to interpret it for you, so just essentially interpret the document literally. So in conclusion, we really hope that you apply for the GRFP if you are eligible. We have been running this workshop series for 10 years, and we've had 57 fellows from LSU during that time. And so it is a very competitive program, but we also have students who get the fellowship every year. So we really hope that you apply. In terms of next steps, please watch the additional videos on applying for the fellowship, which is going to walk you through creating a strong application. So those are the next 2 videos that comprise this first workshop. We have a series of additional workshops, and given COVID right now, we're not sure if those are going to be in person or online or both, but we've got 3 more events for you, and we'll let you know what form that they'll take. So in one, you're going to speak with current and former fellowship winners, and they're going to tell you the story of how they were funded, and they will answer any questions you have and give you advice for applying. There's another workshop that you can get support on for helping to develop your application with the best chance of being funded. We tend to strongly encourage students to attend this workshop if they're having any kind of writer's block. Finally, our last workshop, we will you would come with your draft of your application, and you are going to get feedback on that draft from a professor in your area of expertise as well as a peer. And you'll also review a peer's application so you can see what theirs looks like and give some feedback as well. So the URL at the bottom of the site shows you where to go to get additional information on the workshops. And if you have any other questions, you are welcome to. There's a whole group of us that are helping to facilitate the workshop series this year. And so if you've got discipline-specific questions, you see the list of 4 people there. So based on whatever discipline you plan to apply in, feel free to email the person listed. Additionally, there are a lot of other programs at LSU, and if you are involved in any of those, like undergraduate research, for example, then you can contact the person listed and ask for questions. So good luck, and we hope to see you in future workshop series.